Hi everyone. It's been about a week since I decided this would be the place I would open my heart up and share the hell I've been going through since D-Day. In the hopes that somebody out there might identify with my story and have some positive advice for how this old dog should proceed. Dr. Wife of 12 years cheated last year. D-Day happened on night of our anniversary in April, thanks to a mysterious data dump in my Facebook inbox. The past several days have been a wild roller coaster ride of emotions for me. Since I shared my story, I've taken in each and every bit of wisdom and advice this community has offered, and greatly appreciate the support. Both within the comments thread and in my DMs. I'm happy to report the following. I have no STIs, my 3 children are mine, and I've visited with a divorce lawyer to explore my options, should I decide to go that route. Wife and I are making very slow progress in MC. Our therapist seems to think I'm taking an abnormal amount of time to accept what has happened and begin the process of forgiveness and moving forward. Wife agrees, and has said so on multiple occasions. I've become increasingly suicidal in the past few days, feeling as though nobody understands my pain, nor do they want to. I've also been very angry, especially when it comes to my wife's willingness to throw herself at the AP sexually, while making me essentially beg for it. I've told her on multiple occasions that I want her to want me like she wanted him. That I wanted the kind of spontaneous sexual enticement she offered him so effortlessly. In so many words, I'm insanely jealous of what he got with very little, if any, try. She gets defensive when the subject comes up. Explains that I can get these things, in time. But I'm forcing the issue, and making it unnatural because I keep wanting to talk about it. I explain that, as her husband and as a man, it's a very hard pill for me to swallow, and is one of a few things that I feel is holding me up in my road to forgiveness. Last night, we had a big fight. I walked away, took a drive, and she started texting me. Eventually, I responded, then when it started to get heated, she called me. It got worse. We yelled at each other over the phone. I told her I didn't want to live like this anymore, and she gave me a, whatever, response. Told me I was crazy and needed to calm down. I drove home, ready for another confrontation. Full disclosure, I was completely amped up emotionally, but have never and will never lay a hand on my wife. It was the words. Again, she told me I was crazy, became very cold and calculated in her responses to me, repeating several mantras over and over again, like a robot. When I told her I'd be visiting a lawyer first thing on Monday morning, and wanted to disclose the affair to everyone in our social circle. She threatened me with a video she says she has from years ago of me yelling at her in the car, with our kids present. A threat of sorts? Then she claimed I was more worried about my image than anything else. I couldn't believe my ears. Last weekend, I talked her into letting me see her phone. She gave it to me, reluctantly, for about 3 minutes until she realized I was browsing her Google history. Then she got furious and demanded her phone back. She snapped. Before I gave it back, I found a recent Google search of her app's name, twice, within 2 minutes. She claimed it was probably an autofill mistake, but I'm not stupid. Last Sunday was the 1-year anniversary of her meeting him. This was the start of the suicidal thoughts. I drove off that afternoon and spent a few hours alone, ignoring multiple texts and calls. She figured out where I was eventually, and we had a very long talk. It felt like the wife I married again. She was listening, she was understanding and very empathetic, she was affectionate. And offered to prove to me once and for all that this would never happen again. She even took me out for ice cream. That night was the most enjoyable one I'd had since D-Day. I finally felt like she got me, and would finally do her part to make this situation better and help fix our marriage. But, as you've already read, it all fell apart. I'm sorry this post has been so scatterbrained and frantic. But I'm scared of where my head's at right now and whether or not it's okay to feel what I've been feeling and why. Furthermore, are her words and actions appropriate for what's happening? Finally, I'll mention she backtracks very quickly when it becomes apparent that I'm dead serious about divorce. She's definitely afraid of it. Not sure what, exactly, scares her. Maybe that it could become ugly in terms of discovery process? She still has a lot she's hiding from me, I'm convinced. Keeping it quiet requires us staying together, at least that's what my gut tells me. Thank you for reading. Hopefully my next update will be more focused. Hope you're having a great day. The following tell. No, her words and actions are those of a manipulative self-serving cheater. If you aren't getting full disclosure, full transparency, and actual remorse from her, then reconciliation is out of the question. Her and the therapist don't get to put a time frame on your feelings, fuck that therapist. And arguing aside, in a situation like yours, she threatened you with a video? From years ago? She is calculating and ruthless. And the browser history says she isn't remorseful. You know she's a liar, count on liars to lie. Don't keep this hidden from everyone, it only benefits her and allows her to twist the narrative in her favor. She's likely scared of losing her stability and having her name dragged through the dirt, but she did all that to herself. Move forward with divorce, she needs to do some serious work before you should even consider any further effort on your part other than being civil for your kids. Honestly, I think you should end it for you and your kids' sake. Especially if you believe she is still hiding anything at all from you. Hang in there, brother, it's a miserable process to go through, staying or leaving. Don't let her take a damn inch from you, she already took enough. You are not alone. You can message me anytime if you need to talk and have the darkness on you something fierce. I'm sure others here would do the same. I'm not a praying man, but you'll be in my thoughts. The following tell. First, I would recommend that you don't do anything rash, as far as divorce is concerned, or even reconciliation. You are in a state of emotional turmoil and you will have to get yourself to a place where you can think clearly. My impression is that your wife does not understand what she has done, and is treating her cheating as a bump in the road, rather than the Grand Canyon of misery that she has brought into your life. Our therapist seems to think that I'm taking an abnormal amount of time to accept what has happened and begin the process of forgiveness and moving forward. Wife agrees and has said so on many occasions. In other words, your wife has handed you a shit sandwich and your therapist and your wife can't understand why you are reluctant to eat it. Neither one of them live inside of you, and neither one of them can truly understand the depth of your pain and despair. You have been betrayed, humiliated, embarrassed and emasculated. Those are things that you just don't get over in a brief period of time. You may want to consider getting your own counselor or therapist to help you get through this. As far as forgiveness is concerned, forgiveness is for you. You can accept betrayal, but you don't have to forgive it. You need to be able to forgive yourself for the feelings of anger and possibly revenge that you feel towards your wife. What your wife did was cold and calculating, and as near as I can tell, she does not seem to be remorseful. I think that she's upset that she was caught, but if she hadn't been caught, she would probably still be cheating on you. You have a lot of thinking to do about your personal future, as well as your future with your wife, but you can't do it in the state that you are now in emotionally. You need to be able to think clearly and as rationally as possible. Decisions made in the heat of the moment are usually the worst decisions that a person can make. Don't mention divorce again. After a while it becomes an empty threat. If you do decide to divorce, just do it quietly, get together with an attorney, fill out the petition and have your wife served. One of the hardest things for a wayward partner to deal with is the dimming of the light as the relationship is swallowed up by the darkness that comes with betrayal. You may need to get away from your wife for a while and go NC with her while you figure out what you want to do. It can be a week or longer, but you need to get out of the forest fire that you now find yourself in. Ultimately, you need to ask yourself that if you want to reconcile, do you have the capacity to forgive your wife? The process of reconciliation is long and painful. Will you ever be able to trust your wife again, and if not, is this how you wish to live the rest of your life? Finally, have you asked your wife how she would feel if the situation were reversed and that you had been the one who cheated? Thanks for watching, come back again.